Good morning. Good morning, good morning. How are you, my lovelies? How are you all doing? Oh my God, I just had the most random conversation ever over on my Instagram. My brain is scrambled today. It was very, very random. In fact, Zoe Agnew said, I think you should just click off this live and go and do coffee moaning. So here I am. So hopefully I'm going to be really focused for you guys. How are you all doing? How was your weekend? Did you have a good time? If this is your first time joining Coffee Moaning, we're here 6 days a week. We chat about the news. We get silly often. We check in with you guys and how you're feeling. And it's just a really cool place to hang out for the next half hour. Usually my husband Mark is here with me, but he is out. He was out early this morning filming. He might suddenly come back any minute. We don't know. First time you've caught a live, Anne Graham Music. I've been watching you on catch up since before Christmas. Well, how wonderful that I got to just see that comment and could welcome you to a live then, because the comments do go up very fast. So that was meant to be that I welcomed you to your first live. Right, everybody, Lee Durrant has a date on Friday. This is big. And I think if we all gave Lee a bit of encouragement, that'd be fantastic. And Lee, I think listen, your great assets here. Obviously, I don't know you well. I only know you from here, but you are a very good listener, right? You are kind. You are thoughtful. And those are often very lacking in a lot of people. Those are superpowers. Now, if you meet somebody that it isn't looking for those kind of superpowers, that's nothing wrong with you. Okay? That just means they're not right to choose somebody that'd be good for them. So just think of it like that. Just think, and don't try and be something you're not. I think it's a confusing time for men in a completely different way that it's confusing time for women in the dating game. I really do. So much toxic masculinity swirling around the land, and so much toxic masculinity that we as women often don't realise has invaded our bodies and minds, and in some weird ways we're asking for toxic masculinity. When we say somebody's too nice, or we say somebody's too kind, or you are like a bad boy, all that stuff is toxic masculinity that's been fed to us. And it's not good. Not good for us, not good for the world, not good for future generations. We have to try and rid ourselves of this idea that a bad boy is something that is exciting, because 9 times out of 10 it ends in misery. Anyway, that's my thought for today. So today we're going to be talking about, oh, that's weird, it hasn't come up on here. Oh, there it is. Today we're going to be talking about, oh crikey, what have I done now? I've lost you now, hang on. We're going to be talking about BABYCHAM. I want to hear your nostalgic stories about BABYCHAM, if you have any. We're going to be talking about this drama around kids and the toilets, because this happened over the weekend, and I was like, oh God, Mark, we've got to talk about that on Monday. It's right up my strata. And we're also going to be talking about a panorama that is on tonight. Which actually sounds very worrying to me. Happy birthday, Pauline. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pauline. Happy birthday to you. Right, forgive me, because I'm just trying to get back to the live, which I can't seem to do. I think I've clicked on the wrong thing. Hang on. Here it is. Coffee morning. Coffee morning. So let's start with this story that was around over the weekend. Parents' fury as school makes girls ask for red card pass to go to the toilet on their period. Right. Okay. So many different things about this. Right. First of all, now that my daughter is back at school after 6.5 years of homeschooling, there's always a lot of chat about the toilets, isn't there? Like the toilets is where it all goes on. It's where the bullying goes on. It's where the vaping goes on. It's where the tears go on. I mean, toilets since time began have been like dens of iniquity at school, but also the social hangout. A lot of things happen in the toilet. I just have a visceral response to this as a mum, well, as any parent would. The thought that your child could be stopped going to the toilet when they need to go to toilet, even if it's for let's just park periods at the moment, I think we immediately have a really strong response. So I would imagine that most parents, when their child comes home and says, oh, we're not allowed, well, yeah, we're not allowed to go to the loo in our lesson, you know, once you come in, then that's it, and you're not allowed to go. I bet 9 out of 10 of us go, what? And we give them a huge response. So children feel very validated. Most children would feel that this is something that their parents are 100% going to back them on. Would you agree? So that big response, and that goes into a child's memory, and they know, oh, this is something that is unequivocal. No teacher, no headmaster is going to beat my mum on this one. Because other things, like if they get in trouble or if they get, a detention, I'm going to be like, well, why? What happened? And then I'll say, 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you, and you just go, wow, God, yeah, okay. But it's just part of school, and you got to do it. Yeah, personally, I don't think it was absolutely awful, but this is the rule, these are the rules, and that's what we do. But when it comes to toilets, it's a big deal. So I think that will have informed a bit these children protesting in the way that they did. They have. Also, it's around strike time for the teachers. And I mean, I know that my daughter has said to me a couple of times over the last few weeks, well, if teachers can go on strike, can we go on strike with what's wrong with the teachers? Which you think, well, So this has all come about. I've been looking, this has been happening right across the UK, this argument around toilets. And this I would agree with. I mean, the heads across the country are saying things like, that through the day, before school, in break, at lunch break, afternoon break, there's all these moments when they can go to the toilet. Now, what I would say for that as well is quite often in a lesson, kids are kept a bit longer in the lesson. The queues are always horrendous for the canteen. I mean, my daughter the other day, she didn't have time. She was doing a mock. She didn't have time to eat her lunch because something had run over and then da-da-da. So at the moment, we're not even talking about weeing, or pooing, or whatever. No, we are. That's what we're talking about. Not talking about period yet. Now, so on the teacher's side, there is always going to be the child or the kids. Every day, somebody just skives off to go to the loo. I used to do it. Okay, so that's. I sympathise with any teacher that's dealing with that and dealing with the disruption. And a 40-minute class. There's always 10 minutes settling people down. And if somebody gets up and goes to the loo, I get it. So I sympathise, but I simply don't believe that you can say to a child that they can't go to the loo if they ask to go to the loo. Now, that means some are going to slip through the net and they're going to just be there. They're just going to they're just chancing it to skive off. God, skiving off in the toilet was so good. See, the thing is, I'm still a complete anarchist. I have not grown up at all. I'd be out there. So on those on both sides. But you know what? I felt, and I don't know if anyone agrees with this, I loved seeing these kids feeling really passionate and getting up and doing something, because I think that children feel so disempowered. When you think about the pandemic and how everyone was locked up for a couple of years, I think there's just so much involved in this. It's not just kids being naughty. One of the schools apparently locks the doors. Now, I remember a really traumatic moment in my junior school, this was, when a boy at school hadn't been able to get into the toilet and he had actually pooed himself, right? And I remember him standing outside the toilet and it was like everyone, and all these kids, I was crying. I remember vividly crying my eyes out because these kids were laughing at him and his brother wouldn't even go near him, his own brother. He was just throwing bits of tissue at him. His brother was traumatized, but he was throwing little bits of tissue at him because he didn't want to be part of where everyone was going to be, shouting and teasing and bullying his brother. And it's always really stuck with me, that image. And the thought that a door could be locked and a child could be desperate to go to the toilet, I just think it's just a no, isn't it? So that's all of it without periods. Moving on to periods. What the... Are you serious? Have they got any idea? I mean, I get so cross about this. I actually have daughters that suffer terribly with terribly bad period pains, terribly. Another friend of mine's daughter, she will often end up going to hospital. Her pains are so bad, and her daughter literally will just flood. So you could not stop a child going to the toilet if you have one shred of humanity in you. You could not let that happen to a girl. I remember being in class one day when a girl stood up, she walked across the room to go to the toilet, and her kilt, we wore kilts, was totally red, and where she'd bled, and not everyone, the nasty fuckers were laughing at her. That kind of humiliation never leaves you, that kind of why should you be made to feel ashamed? Why should you be made to feel ashamed for the very thing that continues on the human race, our wombs, I can't find anything about the red card. Is it actually red? Do they have to hold up a card that's red? Does anybody know? I've been looking everywhere, right? I couldn't see whether this card is... Why should a girl have to announce that it's her period? I mean, what the hell? And sometimes you might have gone to the loo for a wee or to change your sandwich towel, whatever, and then you might come back to your class and then you might be gripped with pains. I mean, like this. And you might need to go and sit on the toilet and just rock. What the hell? No, Ellery Jones, there wasn't red cards. There wasn't. This is a new thing. Is anybody's child, does anybody know anything more about this red card? I've looked in various articles. I can't find anything about it. I mean, I know there's toilet passes. Oh, yes, yeah. This is this assistant head teacher. We understand that girls cannot always plan for the arrival of their periods. Well, that's very nice of you, James Hammersley. That's very nice of you to recognise that. Which may take place during lessons. Yeah, it may take bloody place wherever you bloody are at any point of time or day or night. Have you got any idea? And with this in mind, girls can request red period pass cards via their tutors, which they can keep in their bags to use when required. Incredible. Isn't it, Emma? How condescending is that? Crucially, James continues, this system operates on trust and is monitored to ensure that the cards are used appropriately. Oh, fuck off. Oh, God, I tell you what, our system, And so it continues all through life. The other thing is, there are no concessions made at all around periods. Now, you can get, not everybody, but some people can get really bad brain fog around their periods. One of my daughters gets that. And I mean, I can just tell from just the way that she speaks where she's in her cycle, because I can just see it. There's no allowances the other way. No understanding in a lesson where a child might not be concentrating, but no understanding in your mock GCSEs or nothing. just this policing of your periods. That's what it is. I just find it just totally extraordinary. Anyway, some stuff from you. Sarah Witherington, it's traumatic enough without being given a red card. So glad I'm not at school. Dear heart, I've never heard of locked toilets. Yeah, no, it's in the paper today. Extraordinary, isn't it? Faith, teachers can have bad period pain or flooding themselves. Exactly. Zoe, I get brain fog, severe pain to the point I faint. Just awful. Terrible. Yeah, Stacey, my daughter is year 11 and not said anything about red card. They can just go up to the teacher and tell them, they are allowed to leave school. Evan had period products in toilets. Well, lovely. That is the way it should be. And of course, there will be many schools that are like that. You know, I mean, my daughter doesn't get stopped going to the loo, thank God. I'd be at that school, I could tell you. Have you ever said those words? I'm going to go up that school. I used to look at those mums that did that. My mum would never have done that. But I was like, oh, I wish I had a mum that would go up the school for me. Yeah, I think sanitary products should be... Are they free now at school? They should be, shouldn't they? I suppose the thing is everyone would take them and throw them around the school. I'm sorry, but I do love children and I love naughty behaviour. I can't help myself. Okay, it's all going up too fast. And for some reason, I can't click on the bloody... let me try again. I can't get back to the live. What have I done? What have I done, Michelle? I've done something very odd. It says live. I'm clicking on live, but I can't get back. Anyway, okay. So, next one. So tonight, there is a panorama looking into crisis pregnancy advice centres. I found this really chilling. And I wanted to talk about it because I wanted it there as a warning for somebody, for any women that might be in that very terrifying place where they found that they are pregnant and for whatever reasons, because it doesn't matter, it's nobody else's business apart from that woman's reasons, doesn't want to continue with the pregnancy. This is a real warning for you. So in this panorama, women are being misled and manipulated about abortion by some crisis advice centres. Now, where is it? So Panorama identified 57 crisis pregnancy advice centres advertising. Now, first of all, pregnancy counselling is available through the NHS and regulated abortion providers. So make sure if you are looking for some advice that you seek out, that you go to the NHS first. Most claim out of these 57 crisis pregnancy advice centres to provide a safe place for women to receive support and accurate information about their options. So BBC decided to investigate whether this was true. And out of the 57, 34 directed this journalist to the NHS website, which is good, a regulated abortion provider, which is good. But some 21 centres gave misleading medical information and or unethical advice about abortion. I'm thinking about if you're just, really young and you're really scared, or you're somebody, or in any position, and you ring what you think is going to be a supportive person, and then they say some of these things, which is 7 centres said having a termination could lead to post-abortion syndrome. Now, this is a mental health condition, they said, likened to post-traumatic stress disorder, which is not recognised by the NHS. So post-abortion syndrome is not a recognised mental health condition. Now, that's not to say that many people after an abortion could have a very difficult time or could find very upset, but you need that support, the other side, not like a threat that that's going to happen or likely to happen or could happen. That's a no-no. 8 centres linked abortion to infertility, which isn't true, and problems carrying future pregnancies to term. Listen to this one. 5 of the centres linked abortion to an increased risk of breast cancer. So, one can only assume that these are anti-abortionists disguised as advice and help centres for people seeking an abortion. During telephone and in-person consultations, Panorama was told they would suffer consequences after having an abortion and would walk out a different person. Can you believe this? Women, this is another thing she was told, this journalist, who move on quickly after an abortion have done so because they have blocked out of their minds that it was a real baby. Also, that it would be amazing to have your own child, and asked how it would feel to imagine actually to hold your baby. Now this, to me, is cruel. One of the centres said to this journalist, women could experience hallucinations involving babies crying and having nightmares of something happening to a child after an abortion. So Jo Holmes of the British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy said, from a professional standards point of view, they are not there to advise, they are not there to guide, and they are not there to give their opinion. This language is designed to make the client feel guilty. Just quite extraordinary. I was listening to it on the radio today. Oh God, wow, they've got the films of the people. Well, of course they have, because it's Panorama, secret filming. So another one said, the advisor had said to her, would you be able to tell your daughters about having a termination, or would it be something you'd always have to keep quiet about? One of the things that I read was a woman was told, you'll have this abortion, but you'll always be a mother. Anyway, it goes on. So just to be clear at this, this is from Dr. Lord, who said these findings are extremely troubling. There is no increased risk of serious mental health illness, infertility, or breast cancer after an abortion. These centres are set up to target women who are struggling with their decision and then give them false advice to try to sway them away from an abortion. They risk causing significant harm and damage to those especially vulnerable patients. So, if you don't have time to watch Panorama tonight, there it is. And it's good information for us to have, isn't it, to share with other women, because that really scares the shit out of me. I think that's just horrendous. And let's hope there is some action taken to shut these places down. Told Panorama she's not pretty. Oh, there's some juicy answers back for them, but watch it tonight. Watch it tonight, because, wow, how they're defending themselves. Oh, my God. Okay, because we've got to move on, because we want to do BABYCHAM. Let's have a little trip to memory lane. Where's my BABYCHAM story? So, BABYCHAM. Now, BABYCHAM has never gone away, but it's coming back big time. And I didn't realise that BABYCHAM was, the origins of it was to appeal to women. They wanted it was going to be the alternative. They wanted to come up with an alternative to port and lemon or a milk stout. I love saying a port and lemon. Mine's a port and lemon. It makes me feel very, as long as he needs me. Oh, Papa, so it goes. What's the musical? What musical am I singing from? I've never heard of BABYCHAM. Christine Bett. Oh my God, hang on a minute. I'm going to jog your memory. Or maybe you're too young. Is that what it is? Maybe you're too young to remember. Hang on a minute. Maybe Dean has nicked me BABYCHAM glasses. Ah. BABYCHAM. It's got very sticky. Looks like somebody's put that away without watching out. But look, that's BABYCHAM. Do you remember now? Oh my God, I just think, and look how tiny the glasses are. And that is what I wanted to talk about, because actually, I think it's a good idea to bring BABYCHAM back, because everybody's just got crazy with the sizes of our glasses. You know, people will say, I've had a glass of wine without realizing they've had 3 glasses of wine because of the size of their glasses. And these little individual bottles, like quite often, I just like half a glass of wine in the evening, or and because Mark doesn't drink, I don't want to open a bottle of wine. And they come in these little bottles, don't they? And yeah, I'm going to go and buy some BABYCHAM today, and I'm going to keep it in the fridge. And there's something about just popping open that little bottle, all for yourself, and it's glass, you know, it's not plastic bottle, glass, that little bottle, and just, that's enough. You know, it's enough. We drink too much. I love BABYCHAM and other retro drinks like snowballs. Well, Ali P, I only just discovered a snowball Advocar at Christmas. Oh, I loved it. Tiny bottles, blue. And I was just looking at the old ads. They're going, what I love is they are going full retro, apparently. They're going to stick with, you know, the little fawn. Is it a fawn? Is that what we call it? A fawn, yeah. And the little bottles. And I think that's the right thing to do, because we don't want a tarted up BABYCHAM, do we? We want the nostalgia. Lee, BABYCHAM was first ever alcohol drink. My nan let me try it on Boxing Day. Gillian Barras, my grandma used to have BABYCHAM. I remember letting me have a sip. I do, like you go. I drink it from a bottle like a wino. Good shit, lollipop. Don't let the team down. Do you? So who likes... It's quite sweet as well, wasn't it? You could see they were like appealing to the ladies and making it very sweet. I wonder if they'll make it less sweet now. BABYCHAM was a Christmas drink, yeah. It was special, wasn't it? There was something very, like, you wanted a big fur boa, didn't you? And high heels and stockings with seams. Morning, gorgeous. Pauline, I will sing Luke, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Luke. Happy birthday to you. Nice with a bit of brandy, says Helen B. Don't tell me you're all going to start saying what you add to it now. No, I'm all up for it. Bit of nostalgia, nice little individual bottle, not over drinking. It's a bit glamorous, you know. It's abstemious. You can just pop one open without going. Because the thing is, like, people will say, oh, I don't like to buy those small bottles of wine because it works out so much more expensive than buying a big bottle. But if you buy a big bottle and you end up drinking it all, or you end up throwing half of it away, that's way more expensive. So I love this idea. Welcome back, BABYCHAM. So guys, I'm going to bugger off ski now. I've got lots to do. It's been lovely spending time with you. And, Mark and I are recording this week's Agony Aunt and Uncle. If you missed the last one, it was really, it was lovely actually. And thank you for sharing with us your problems. So think of it like a problem page. It goes on podcast, but we also do a video of it. So we're your aunt and uncle. We're not giving any professional advice. We're giving like you would, like a good friend or a relative would, like a problem page. So we will put the link up under here, or is it on the community page? I think it's on the community page, so you can go there, and if you've got a problem you would like Mark and I to discuss, you've got to do it this morning because we are recording it in a couple of hours, and we read them all, and we will over time try and answer them all, unless it's something that we think is beyond our ability. You know, if it's something that we think it really needs a professional person, then we wouldn't, or we would. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle's going to pop the link under here now. Thanks, Michelle, honey. And so you can go and do that straight away if you want. All right, my lovelies, lots of love. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. See ya.